What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to get started on putting in the Team Z radiator support and drilling out the spot welds for the sway bar mount with a kit that we got off of Amazon. So let's go ahead and check that out and get rocking and rolling. So we have a Autobody Now brand kit that we got off of Amazon. Real basic. Comes in a nice little package. So if we can get that to zoom right. And it does have a little tip that will help it get started. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a try and see what we can get done with it. Oh yeah, this kit was only like 10 bucks on Amazon, or $12 or something. So let's go ahead and grab this little kit here. I'm just using a DeWalt cordless drill, and I'm gonna size these up. It's probably a little too small. There one in the middle. That looks like it could be it, guys. It is an 8mm or 5/16. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Alright, the driver's side sway bar mount is out. As you can see, there's about 6 spot welds on each side. I did end up going through that one right there. Not a problem, because this is all going to be covered with a piece of sheet metal and then smooth and blended with polyfill or fiberfill or something like that. Alright, as you can see right there, 6 on the bottom, and I went through one as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and repeat the process on the other side and we'll catch back up. So one thing that I would change is getting longer bits to pull out or to drill out the spot welds. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You really have to come in straight with these, but I can only come in at an angle on some of them. Like over here is completely fine. I can make it nice and straight, but in tighter spots down here, the bracket is in the way. Alright, it is muggy as hell out here, guys, but we got the sway bar mounts off, hit it with some 80 grit, and I'm going to show you what it looks like now that we dusted it with some weld through primer. We still got a bunch of holes to fill in, I know that, not worried about it, but that's what it looks like, guys. I mean, they're out. And the weather is kind of crappy, but we did go get something new so that we can keep working on this, because I'm really getting tired of the rain getting in the way. So let me flip the camera around and show you what we got. A new tent, yeah. So when I bought it, it was supposed to stand up a little bit higher, but I went ahead, took some measurements, cut the bottom off so that it could go up under the overhang. That way when the rain comes down off of the roof and hits the tent, it'll come down off to the sides and it won't be flooding into the garage. Where the other tent, the little pop-up one, it went down on all 4 sides, which was great if it was like sunny and I just wanted to stay out of the heat. But with the rain, it was literally coming into the garage and just flooding everywhere where I was trying to work. And every time it rained, we just had to stop what we were doing. It's even sprinkling right now, but who cares, because we're not going to get wet. So we're going to keep rocking and rolling. And I started cleaning up for the area where the Team Z radiator support bar goes. So let me catch you up right there, and we'll see you in a sec. So I already did this side. I'm gonna bring you over to the other side so you can see for a reference. I started cutting it, but I was like, you know what, let me stop, take a minute and show you guys kind of what we're doing. When I cut this off, I used a Sawzall and just generally took a spot where I could get easy access to cut it off and get it out of the way for the time being. And then we're using this metal saw from Harbor Freight. I think it was like 30 bucks. Making quick work of all this, just trimming it up a little bit closer. I'm gonna go ahead and grind all that down, spray it with weld through primer, finish up this side, and then we'll get welding. All right, guys, so we're gonna get working on cleaning up the area for the radiator support bar where we just cut everything off. I just wanted to show you real quick. Listen, you know, I'd rather go spend 30 bucks on a tool like this from Harbor Freight than $150 from another brand. I can get 5 tools that I might need around the garage for the price that I'd probably spend on one of the bigger brands. This, you know, if it breaks, I'm not going to feel bad about it. And it's simple, guys. I mean, I bought this kit here that's going to attach to it, I think, for maybe $10. You screw it in, right? This is coarse. It's going to clean off any of the excess rust or paint that we need to get it back down to bare metal before welding. I'm going to run this thread in here, tighten this up. The kit came with some wrenches, and it's just almost like a Dremel tool. This is going to slide in there. You're just going to tighten it up. We're going to use a 1/4 inch NPT fitting for the air compressor, and then tighten that in, and we're ready to rock and roll. So here you have it. We have the new brackets mocked up, and the Team Z bar is kind of in place. Everything is primed with the weld through primer. You can see that the radiator does have a slight inward tilt, or the bottom is kind of more forward and then the top is more towards the back, but that's probably only maybe by like 1/4 of an inch, and that's okay because that should actually help with some of the airflow. Let me give you a front clip here of what it's gonna look like. There we go. I'll show you quickly the other side, and then I'm gonna get to welding and getting this thing into place. So that's it. We got the new bushings on the bottom, new brackets on the top, Team Z bar in place. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the gap that's right here. It's pretty consistent, and now it's time to get this thing permanently in place. Don't judge me too hard, okay? Like I said, I've never welded before. It was my first time. I had to kind of get used to the settings on the welder, and I mean, as you can see, the front end at one point was hit over here. You can tell the difference here where this is kind of beat up, and there's a little bit of a split right here, versus this side, which is really nice and smooth, and it's just, you can tell it's never been hit over on this side. This is real smooth in here. You can see there's a bunch of gunk here where somebody did some body work. We're gonna work on all that. I mean, we still have to take all this out and put the Scott rod panels in. So there'll be a lot of massaging and stuff that we'll do. When the car was put together, the body gaps and all that didn't look to be too far off, but there was some discrepancies on where this lined up. So we may go back in, do a little more grinding on this at some point, maybe add a little more welding, grind it back down, but we're gonna be putting a whole flat panel on this too to cover that up, and that's gonna hide a lot of it. We're gonna be using a little bit of filler to kind of smooth and blend everything out, so I'm real not worried about this at the moment. Right now we need to get grinding on a lot more of the engine bay and start getting all the crud off, remove the K-member, and get this ready to be primed. I'm expecting the Scott rod panels to be here possibly in about a week, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to get this prepped. So basically we have the whole front end kind of scuffed up, cleaned up with the grinder, and primed with some self-etching primer from SEM. We did go in and clean up some of these areas a little bit. We will need to do some fine tuning on all this, but for right now I think we're miles ahead of where we were. So that's just kind of what we're working with here. PB blaster soaking on those bolts. I already got the bottom two on both sides out and one of the big ones out on the other side, so we just have that one there and that one there and then one on the other side, and we're going to go ahead and drop the K-member. Brake line's already disconnected, and then we'll just take the bolts out here on top of the strut tower, and that's it. So let's get this thing down. After that, we've got the brake booster to take out and a couple lines, and then the engine bay is 100% completely disassembled and ready for all of its final prep work. And then a tubular K-member will be going in, and so that'll be coming up on a later video. It's not going to happen probably for a few weeks, but we're going to be putting in the Scott rod panels and all that. So there's still tons of stuff to come up, still tons of stuff in the works. So let's get started. Let's be smart about this, guys, and put a jack under this thing. I just realized we got 2 bolts left and I don't have a jack under it. Alright, that's better. Alright guys, so let's talk about what we did. We cleaned up the front end, got the radiator support welded in, we primered everything, cleaned it up, and we got the K-member down. So I'm going to flip you around, show you the final product, and talk about it a little bit more, and then we're probably going to wrap it up from there with this one. I need to go get a few more supplies. We're still waiting on the Scott rod panels to come in. So let's quit talking, flip it around, and check it out. Probably going to use a few parts off of it, like the spindles, maybe the brake calipers. We'll be getting some new rotors, coilovers, definitely new K-member, new rack and pinion, manual rack and pinion. May end up resourcing a new wiring harness from LMR. This one looks kind of jacked up, so that's probably going to get replaced, but here's where we're at. This is where we are, guys. We have pretty much everything out. We talked about, we just got to get that out, the brake booster and a couple lines, pull those brake lines off the back over there. Those fuel lines, they are a little jacked up too. We'll probably end up getting some replacements, maybe going with AN fuel lines and braided lines to the back. I'm not 100% sure at the moment, but I mean, everything looks pretty good under here. It's cruddy, it's nasty, but you know, that's what you can expect from a car, and this is a 1989, so it's old, it's getting there. But we're getting closer, that's for sure.